You're listening to the AFTERBUZZ TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
Very good, Dean.
From the AFTERBUZZ Studios in Los Angeles, California, presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies, this is AFTERBUZZ TV's Chasing Life After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AFTERBUZZ TV's Chasing Life After Show.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to AFTERBUZZ TV. This is the after show for Chasing Life, what to expect when expecting chemo. I'm your host, Heather. Along with me is...
Hi, guys. I'm Kristin.
Hey, guys. I'm Michelle.
So tonight's episode was all about April's preparation into getting her chemo, which she's going to be going into the hospital for a month-long stay. And so we kind of opened up the show with her getting ready, packing, also going to get her eggs fertilized, I guess is the appropriate...
Extracted.
I'm like, what is the appropriate wording for this?
Extracted, then frozen.
Extracted and then frozen. Okay. So we open up with this scene, and it was interesting.
I thought it was really lighthearted because they were like trying to get her prepped up for it and not be too scared, and I really liked all their egg puns.
I was gonna just say the egg jokes were hysterical. And what kind of eggs do you want today? You know, like, do you want them frozen or scrambled? Like, how would you like them?
I know, I even wrote down extraction because I liked it so much.
Yeah, exactly. So tonight's episode, we had a few different storylines, and one of them was Greer, Kieran, Ford, and Brenna's relationship. So all four of them, got to keep all their names.
Square.
Yeah, this whole love square of all of them. So as we know from previous episodes, Kieran and Brenna are together, but also we have this blossoming relationship of Greer and Brenna. And I feel like Greer's kind of like in this place at the beginning of the episode where she likes Kieran, she likes hanging out with him, but she really likes spending time with Greer.
Yeah.
What are your guys' thoughts on this?
I really like the relationship between Greer and Brenna because she brings out like a whole different side to her, whereas with Kieran, like they're just hanging out and they're just having fun. But I really like Brenna and Greer.
Yeah.
I feel like she's a better like partner too because Kieran's a good guy, but he doesn't really seem to have the whole boyfriend thing down, which I guess is because he's not a boyfriend because they don't want labels, which I think is stupid.
Exactly.
Label it. Just do it because you're just confusing everybody now.
Yeah.
Right? Because now you're mad that she's dating somebody else, but just define it.
And I feel like with Greer, she's a whole lot tamer and just like laid back and into this whole, what is it, geology thing? Ecology. I can't get this right. Ecology thing. And with Kieran, she's like this wild party animal. Yeah. And it's, I think with her life and what's going on in it, she needs someone more stable like Greer, not like Kieran.
Greer will definitely put her on the right track too because she's got her involved in Eco Club and, you know, Greer's class president and does all this amazing things. You know, she's going to get Brenna into college.
She will.
She will get her into college. She will join all the right activities. She's going to go to Harvard.
Yep.
Right. Not Harvard, but maybe like a really good Penn or a good Boston college.
Yeah. There we go. So we also had Greer come over for dinner tonight. And during the dinner, Ford shows up at the door. And she's unexpected. They weren't expecting her, but Brenna says, okay, you can come in and eat dinner with us if you're okay with Greer being here. And so she does, but you can tell the whole time she's very uncomfortable with this.
Yeah. I feel like she was such a bad friend.
Yeah.
She's never been a good friend.
She's never been a good friend.
I've always been wondering why Brenna is friends with her. I mean, Brenna, I guess she has kind of a wild side that Brenna probably liked because otherwise, she's not doing anything for you.
No.
She just shows up randomly and
talks
she,
about herself.
And she's,
She just has a bad attitude all the time, too.
And if you're not going to be accepting of your friends, new friends, then don't come around.
Right. Yeah. So, also in tonight's episode, Sara, April and Brenna's mom, walked in on Brenna and Greer making out on Brenna's bed. And I thought this was just really funny at first because she like opens the door like, oh my gosh, and then she shuts it and just stands there. Like,
and then she knocks again.
then she knocks. Like, you were just in there. Just go.
Right.
Don't make it more awkward.
I thought it was really great that she didn't freak out.
No,
I did too.
Yeah.
But when she went in to, like, have that talk with Brenna, like, things were just so, like, you could feel the awkwardness right when she walked into that room.
Brenna
like,
was mortified.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
I think Brenna was more mortified than Sara was mortified and shocked.
She was so cool about it.
She was.
Yeah.
I mean, it's because she's a therapist, probably.
Yeah.
She didn't make a big deal out of it. She just, this is okay. You're dating girls too. Great.
She's like, okay, Greer, you can go sleep downstairs now.
And she was so nice about it.
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of parents, even if they were cool with it, just not knowing that your kid is also hooking up with a girl too, they would freak out automatically. Not even because they're not okay with them like being a lesbian or bi or whatever she wants to call herself, but they would just freak out at the shock of it. And she stayed so cool.
She was just so calm.
Yeah.
Like, wait, what about Kieran?
Yeah.
Well, crazier things have happened. Let's be
That's true.
honest.
She's got a lot on her plate.
She's
like,
got a lot
"Not now."
more to worry about than her daughter being bisexual.
Yeah.
So, speaking of which, let's get into that really quickly here. And Beth. We'll kind of get into Beth, but Beth and April decide to go to Bruce Hendry's debate, which is going to be April's last major work event before she goes into her chemo. And so she really wanted to be there, get this story written, and just kind of go out with nobody knowing about her cancer. Well, that didn't quite happen.
Right. It never does.
No.
Poor Beth has been holding it all up inside. She's been so strong and she's been such a good friend. She just needed to let it out in the bathroom on the shoulder of a stranger.
Unfortunately, that stranger was Raquel.
Bad stranger to pick.
Bad
True.
stranger to pick. But what's interesting is the fact that Raquel was there at this debate, because April seems to be getting all these leads and stuff, and then you kind of feel like Raquel's the stepsister, even though she's her supervisor.
Yeah.
But she's the one who kind of gets left out of all these events. So she just happened to be at this event and be in the bathroom.
And she was awful.
Yeah.
That,
she was so awkward.
What did she say?
You
she was
can only
talking about,
be your own best friend or
that
something.
book
Yeah.
about be your own best friend had a point. That's not what you say to somebody.
No.
You're supposed to pat him on the back and say, she'll get through it.
Yeah.
I'll have her in my thoughts.
Yeah.
I was in shock when she said that. Like, I mean, even though she's, like, really rude and mean to April, like, at the same time, like, have some compassion. This girl is going through a lot right now.
Yeah.
And she doesn't even, with April, at least she has a reason to hate her.
Yeah.
Because she's almost as good as she is. But you don't even know this poor girl crying in the
this
bathroom.
poor girl.
Why are you going to be rude to her? Her friend has cancer.
Yeah. I mean, if I were to see somebody crying in the bathroom and they're like spilling their guts out to me that their best friend has cancer and they just, they don't know how to keep it all bottled up and their just emotions are pouring out, you wouldn't just be like, okay.
I would
This is
hug
why
them.
you don't
Have
have
a
best
nice-
friends.
Yeah.
That's why she doesn't have a best friend.
She probably
That's right.
doesn't.
No.
She's probably has a really rotten life.
She doesn't have any friends, I bet. Because who
That's
would
why
be friends
she's
with
so
her?
mean.
Not that I would really want Chasing Life writers to go into Raquel's story very much because I
No.
really just don't care.
Let's not.
But I would be interested what the heck is going on in her life that
Here's what
she's so
happens.
miserable.
She just goes home to no boyfriend. She makes herself a
Girl,
microwave
she's-
dinner.
yeah, microwave dinner.
And she goes to sleep. Maybe she works out every now and again because Danny apparently likes to look at her, so she's
Yeah.
got to keep up that.
Danny's
what
the
she-
only one that wants her.
That's what she does.
Yeah, I guess she doesn't really have that great of a life, so maybe that's why she's so moody all the time.
That's true.
So, as we said, Beth pours her heart and soul into Raquel at the bathroom. And when Raquel leaves the bathroom, Beth leaves the bathroom as well and goes to find April at this event. And they're kind of like in some like entry hall or something like that where everybody's kind of congregating. And this is where Raquel sees that April is best friends with Beth. And in Raquel's mind, she's like, oh, like that's what she was talking about when she said she was sick or she had a medical problem. I don't really know if it really, really dug deep into Raquel. Like,
It didn't look like it.
It didn't look like it. But at the same time, I feel like it kind of hit her a little bit. I don't know.
You could tell that she was kind of regretting the way that she treated April because, you know, she was really harsh on her, like, every time she came into her office and stuff like that. But at the same time, like, if she felt really bad, she shouldn't have told everyone at the office.
Yeah, that was awful.
That was so rude.
Why would
Keep
she
it to
tell
yourself.
everybody in the office?
And the other thing is I didn't even know she had, like, office relationships with all the other people in the office.
No.
Like, I thought she was just in her own corner, like, having no friends at work.
She probably didn't, but she was getting coffee and then she said, oh, April has cancer, and then it spreads like wildfire.
Yeah, that's true.
So backing up, Raquel goes to work and apparently tells somebody or everybody that April has cancer in the office, and April hadn't told a single person. And when she shows up the next day, everyone in the office is treating her completely different, saying, oh, here's a muffin for you. Oh, here, take the copier first. Like, you know, treating her like she's on top of the world. But she's like, what is going on? And then realized, you know, when one of the guys like, you know, look here
like,
for you.
His bracelet.
She's like, what?
Okay.
You know?
Oh my goodness. Yeah.
And poor Danny, because I feel like Danny really had his feelings hurt that April hadn't told him.
Yeah. I agree.
But it's not like he's proven to be a trustworthy friend. I wouldn't have told him if he was my friend. He's not that great. He's all about him, and let me listen to my
tribal
cheetah
music.
Yeah. And
that was a nice thing 2 weeks ago.
That
when
was
we got
a
the
nice
cheetah
thing.
music.
That was a nice thing that he did, but it was out of selfishness because it was for the paper. It wasn't really for April. He's never really been a good friend. He probably would have told everybody. He would have told Raquel, try and sleep with her.
That's probably true. Good point.
Very good point.
So let's talk about Leo and April.
Let's.
Because I know you love this conversation. And last week you got me on board with shipping Leo and April.
Glad about that.
I'm off that train.
Ugh.
That was a short-lived train. I'm off. We're done.
We're back to Dominic now?
We're back to Dominic now.
Ugh. Dominic.
Why was Leo such a jerk in last night's episode?
Because he thinks he's dying. He's under a lot of stress.
But he is dying, but so is April, and April's not being a jerk to him.
I know, but I feel like he's been dealing with it for a lot longer, and he doesn't want to have the surgery, and he's made that decision for reasons he said, I guess, and maybe ones that we don't know yet. And I feel like this has been a hard way for him to go out, especially with his dad in the election, and he thinks he's dying, and his dad's kind of like, well, you know, I'm gonna be elected, so I don't have a lot of time for you right now, until we did see him leave for his son, which was a nice gesture. But I don't know, I think he's under a lot of pressure, and life isn't really turning out the way he wanted to, and he realizes it's coming to an end.
I also think it's probably a defense mechanism.
Yeah. Oh,
and
yeah.
to, like, you know, help April from, I guess, putting too much of her emotions into him, because he knows that if he does die, like, who is she gonna turn to now?
He doesn't want to hurt her.
Yeah.
That's true.
He's protecting her.
So, please.
He's so great.
So last week we talked a little bit about like the stages that they're all in. Do we think that Leo could be reversing kind of back into this denial stage, or do we think he's in the acceptance stage, or is he just
I think he's
whatever?
Kind of at the I don't think that he's dying, but I think he's at the last stage where he has kind of accepted that he's dying, but I don't think he's really that in touch with his emotions, so he doesn't know how to handle, like with what was it, Jackson? We saw last week, he kind of wanted to say goodbye, and he had a different way of approaching the end, and I don't think Leo is approaching it that same way.
Mm-hmm.
He's approaching it with more, I don't think he wants to die, so I think he's approaching it with more hostility, but I think he also has a lot of hostility about his life and things that he wanted to do that he's never going to get to do, and he's more in that stage of acceptance, and I'm mad that I don't get to do any of this.
Yeah. I feel like because he's always been like the one who's very adventurous and live your life to the fullest, I feel like he's really doing himself a disservice to not getting this surgery, because he could have the opportunity to go on, but he's not even trying.
That's true.
I mean, April kind of set it all out there for him.
I get it, though. I get him not wanting to, because I watch a lot of Grey's Anatomy too, so I know about.
So she's our medical expert on the show.
So I know about
you
brain
totally
surgery.
Have your doctorate now.
I know about brain surgery, and like people always, you can get a lot taken out of you, and he would just be literally laying in a bed with losing half of his brain, his memory, his speech. He could lose anything with brain surgery, especially depending on how big his tumor is or whatever. So maybe, I get him not wanting that to happen, but it's also only a risk. It's not, you're going to end up losing your memory. So, but he doesn't want to end up like that, and I wouldn't want to end up like that either. Just lying in a bed waiting for someone to pull a plug on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
True. So in the last scene, we see that, or the last couple scenes, I should say, April decides to write her story on the Bruce Hendry debate. And instead of writing it like a typical news reporter would, she decides to make it kind of like opinion, like of what she thinks. And she kind of lays it all out there because Bruce stopped his debate in the middle of it and left for Leo. I feel like that's the only reason why she felt like compelled to write it like this. And she kind of lays it all out there that she has cancer and she's about to go through chemo and everything that's going on in her life, and I guess part of it with Leo. And then she ends up trying to call Dominic and calls him and calls him and calls him. No answer because he's overseas playing.
I know. Why wasn't he answering though?
Yeah, I don't know.
She called him a couple times. There should be a chance.
Yeah.
Maybe he was sleeping.
Maybe.
Or do you think he was ignoring her?
I think he was ignoring her.
Yeah.
Well, of course she's gonna say that.
I think
he was ignoring her. I think he was sleeping with someone else. He's probably sleeping with lots of people.
Lots and lots, because you just hate him. So we're going to pretend like he was sleeping by himself.
Alone?
Alone.
All right.
And he missed the calls.
I'll go with that for now, until it's been proven otherwise. Innocent until proven guilty.
Okay. So Dominic ends up reading her article and realizes she has cancer. And that was our last scene, and it was kind of emotional because you see all these people reading it and everything's going through. But before we go on, I want to take this time to go into our predictions because it's going to kind of roll into that.
Okay.
And now, your AFTERBUZZ TV predictions.
So, after that last scene, what were your first thoughts of what Dominic is going to do next?
I was thinking that he would probably go home on the next plane to be with her, but I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen. Like, it's up in the air. It's a 50-50 chance. Like, he can either go back home and be with her or stay there and finish out the rest of his assignment.
He should probably call her back first.
Yeah. That would be the first thing.
Maybe don't hop on a plane yet. Call her back. So I predict that he should call her back first. But then, I think he'll go back just because it is hard to say though, because it's not like they had this 3-year relationship and then he was like, I'm gonna leave for a few months and we'll take a break and then we'll jump back in when I come back. It was like they were dating for like 2 months.
But it seemed very serious though.
I felt like they rushed it.
Okay.
They totally did. But I feel like it was like a 5-year relationship compacted into a few months.
It was like, oh, now we're dating, now we're sleeping together, now you're my boyfriend, now like, aren't we getting married? No.
Yeah. That's how I kind of felt
exactly
like
how it was.
Kind of went like that.
Because if it wasn't, then she wouldn't have been such a big deal him leaving.
Exactly.
That's
true.
true.
Like, we're just dating.
And it wouldn't have been that big of a deal that she even told him about this whole ordeal. but I feel like mutually they both want to be together. But he had this opportunity to go tour with this band for the newspaper, and I feel like she didn't want to be selfish, and so she encouraged him to go. But I don't really think neither of them really wanted this to happen.
No.
Yeah, I feel like they both wanted to stay. So I think after she calls him,
He calls her.
I'm sorry,
She put too much. She's in the hospital now.
he calls her. She's already called him enough. That's too psycho. She calls again. So he's gonna call her, and then I think he's probably gonna come back.
Yeah, I think he is.
I don't think there's no way with the way that relationship was going that he can stay there and let this go on.
Even as a friend that you care about, I feel like if he has the money and the chance to come back, even if it's just for a short weekend in between like shows, he would come back.
Yeah, I agree. So we'll see.
We will see. Well, next week is our last episode.
Yeah, and I hope that Leo is in it. And I hope that there's some kind of this is not predictions anymore. This is hopes.
This is hopes. Okay.
And I hope that something happens with them, because I'm waiting for that, and that's all I want out of this season finale.
Well, I feel like it'll be that kind of season finale where at the very end, like, Dominic will show up, and then it'll just cliffhanger right
Right when she's kissing Leo. That's what's gonna happen.
No, wonder if her and Leo are making up in the hospital because they're apparently like having their pretend breakup even though they weren't together.
Yeah.
They are making up, and Dominic walks in, and now she...
During makeup sex?
No, not...
No.
They're in the hospital.
You can't have sex in the hospital?
No, not when you're having chemo.
That's true.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you can, but I don't know. But
they did it in a funeral home the first time.
That's true. They are kind of weird. Okay. So anyways... No, they're just
talking.
together. They're just talking.
Holding hands.
Possibly. But Dominic's going to show up, and then she's going to have to choose. Just like which we skipped over. Brenna had to choose between Kieran and Greer.
It was great.
I think she made a right choice.
I think she made a right choice. Good job, Brenna.
But see, and yeah, Greer didn't ask her to, so
No.
Yeah.
She kind of did at the end, but
Oh, wonder if Leo is like, you have to choose between me or him.
I don't
Oh
think
my
Leo would
goodness.
do that. He's not the type. He would be like, well, you don't want me, or I'm gonna die anyways. That's
true.
what
That is
what
what
he
he
is.
He's just so like, whatever.
Like, because he just lost the will.
So why would you want her with someone who's like, whatever about you?
She can give it back to him. Well, not about. She's not like that about her. He likes her because he even said, way back when, you're gonna love me.
That's true.
True.
Foreshadowing. That's what that's called.
This will be interesting season finale.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
I'm excited.
Yes. And for all of you who thought Haley was coming in tonight, she's actually coming in next week. So we really apologize, but next week. So make sure you send all of your questions to us on Twitter. And you can find me on Twitter at Heather Joy Smith and on Instagram at Heather Joy Smith.
You can find me on Twitter at Kristin Strange and Instagram at Kristen Aubrey Strange.
And you can find me on Twitter and Instagram at _Michelle Phi.
Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you next week.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.
Thank you for watching AfterBuzz TV on YouTube. For more of your favorite after shows and interviews, subscribe to our channel here, and be sure to share your opinion on the episode in the comment section below here. We'd love to see what you guys are buzzing about. Thanks again. Buzz you later.